Hey, Anthony here with Prairieburn Canine Academy here in Kelowna, BC. I just got Hank, who's dropped off for our stay and train program. And I want to kind of show you what we do as an initial session for him. He's a bit of a puller on leash. He's very anxious, very fearful, just lacking direction. He can be a bit protective too, especially around certain members of the family. So I'm just going to walk you through what I'm going to do to start helping build the relationship with him a little bit. Get him moving with me, not put too much pressure on him. Just kind of getting him to trust me a little bit before we move forward. So yeah, I'll show you what that looks like. Can be a bit of an intense guy, lack of direction, a bit anxious, a bit nervous, a bit fearful. You can see he's on a prong, and we're going to be switching that probably to either just a slip lead or maybe even a different prong. We're going to be e-collaring him as well. Get that off leash reliability and stuff too with that. Maybe even put a head halter on him, but we'll kind of see how it goes over the next few days. Kind of ignoring me a little bit. Totally normal. At drop off, I just put him in my van. We went for a little drive, take the pressure off, because he can be a bit quite unsure and reactive towards new people. So that way it helps take the pressure off him, just being in the van with me. I ran a couple errands, just to the bank and stuff like that. I was in the vehicle, just letting him smell me, not face on, stuff like that. So that kind of helped him a little bit too. There he was trying to mark a little bit. Unfamiliar territory, and apparently he does that a little bit too. So you can see he's trying to pull me to sniff different things, not really engaged with me at all. So right now I'm just trying to teach him a little bit of pressure on and off, and be soft and guide him into the vicinity I want. I want there to be as little pressure on his leash as possible. I don't want to pull on me, but I'm allowing him a little bit of free rein right now within this kind of radius. Just to help get some movement going, get his brain thinking and trusting a little bit. Walking together yet, that's okay. Pressing a bit of avoidance, that's alright. Wanting to mark again. They're just getting a little alerted by some people walking by. can see his body language, he's pretty unsure. Heads up, ears are forward, eyes are working. Ears and eyes are working. Nose isn't really working all that well because he's digging himself into stuff. Tail's low, unsure. He's done a couple yawns to try and release some stress. So I like that he's trying to work through some of that, trying to release some of that stress. He's got a little bit of a wide spatula tongue, getting a little stressful. Oh, there, give me some nice eye contact. There you go, Hank. There you go, buddy. We're gonna be friends, I promise. So for the most part there, really light pressure, just to guide him where I want him to be. Just kind of a little bit of pressure with a couple fingers, that's about it. So I'm happy that he's not bulldozing me, that's good. Not sure if you're able to see the change in his body language a little bit there, starting to loosen up a little bit, walk a little more calmly. There we go, give me a nice little check-in, there we go. That's what happens when we take the pressure off dogs, and we just kind of be with them for a little bit before we start training. Let them kind of sense us from a distance, take the pressure off from physical and even verbal and stuff, not talking a whole lot to them, not forcing ourselves on them basically, letting them start to learn to trust us, not a whole lot of face-to-face, just start moving with them. Again, every dog's a little bit different, but that's kind of just a general rule of thumb. Take the pressure off a little bit, keep talking to a minimum, keep touch and verbal to a minimum. If you're able to zoom in on his face there, his forehead wrinkles are getting a little less stressed out. Those are all kind of body language cues. So there, that was just pressure he put on himself there. There we go. Like that he's softening up so quickly. Yeah, right from the get-go, I make things clear to them what my expectation is. I didn't let him charge out the crate. I'm not letting him pull me around. I'm not being harsh with it by any means, but I'm just setting the tone of, hey, this is just what my expectation is, right? We got to have a little bit of manners here, just to help him out, help make the relationship clear, so that he's in that learning state right away, and I'm not trying to really confusing him. Now we were able to walk a little bit further without him putting tension on the leash, which was awesome. Slow progress, just a little bit steady. Super proud of him so far. It's awesome. He's pretty intense with his family and who he lives with sometimes, so super proud of where we're at so far from what I've been told. And this relationship's a little bit different with different family members too. But overall, fairly protective guy. I just want to mark again. So we're going to help bridge the gap of communication there and help build a little bit of leadership for his family to help take some of that stress off of him and off of them and get everyone on the same page. And so he doesn't feel the need to have to protect, and we're going to help make that relationship just nice and clear and teach them how to live with their dog. That's the key. How you live with your dog in the home, that's all the stuff that transfers outside the home. see how exhausting that is. Just a few minutes because the brain's really working here. That's where you tire your dogs out the most, getting them to think for themselves. As opposed to the physical. The physical just creates athletes most of the time and kind of shuts the brain off. I want the brain to start going so that the physical can come later on, but they're making great decisions. So getting that brain really working, really in tune, and start to problem solve and think and evaluate what's going on. So yeah, so that's our first session of a few today. So I just figured I'd record another first session with Mr. Hank. 4-year-old, I think he was a boxer pity mix. Can't remember exactly what the mix was from the registration forms, but you get the idea. Let's let them see your handsome face again.